All right, right now we're going to take a look at the waters of life. Of course, we need to drink water to survive. It's very important, but it is also very important for transportation, for moving around, especially in the colonial times. Even today, we use ships to move our products around and establish trade. And we think about the coal that we have around here. Um, we trade or sell the coal and we get other things in return for that. If we didn't have the railroad out here, then we wouldn't be able to transport all that coal, and it wouldn't go anywhere. It'd be useless. You can't eat coal. It's not going to help you survive unless you can sell it. Yes, it'll give you some energy, but you really need to sell it in order to, because we have so much here, we much more than we need. And that's what happens usually with trade, that you have a commodity in the region that is very valuable, especially to people that don't have it. But you have plenty of it, so you trade it, the excess away, and you get things that you need, that they have an abundance of. This is why trade is so important and so lucrative, and it's a win-win situation. They get what they want, you get what you want, and everybody's happy. But you can't do that unless you have transportation systems. And the waterways allow us to do that. So let's take a look at the four major water areas around the United States. The first one is the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean separates Europe and Africa from the Americas. Europe is over here, Africa is down here. Serves as a highway for explorers, early settlers, and later immigrants. So all this activity that's going on from Europe and Africa back and forth to the Americas is made possible by the Atlantic Ocean. Very important ocean. The other ocean that we talk about that's on our western coast is the Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean separates Asia from the Americas. It's Earth's largest ocean. You can fit all the land of the world into it. And it's an early exploration destination and route to Asia. That early exploration destination, most explorers would go to the Pacific. Oh, there's another ocean there. We see the end of it. And then that was it. Most of the activity goes on in the Atlantic Ocean. This is where it's the shortest distance from Europe, where most of these, if not a lot of these ships are coming across in the early days of colonial times. The next group of waterways is right here in the Great Lakes. Great Lakes are I can't stress the importance of how important these Great Lakes are. The only reason why they're able to be so important is because of the St. Lawrence River. We can kind of make it out right here. It's a river that spills out into the Atlantic Ocean, but it connects the Atlantic to the Great Lakes, and each of the Great Lakes are connected to each other. This allows all of these places in the internal part of the United States and Canada to be able to transport their goods out to the Atlantic and anywhere in the world, especially Europe, and allows a lot of cities to grow. Think about the cities that are here: Milwaukee, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Buffalo are all along the Great Lakes. And there are others that I'm forgetting, but these cities wouldn't be able to exist or thrive if they didn't have a way to get their goods out to a water source and then out to the Atlantic Ocean. So, when we look at these five lakes, a good way to remember is Superman helps everyone. All right, Superman helps everyone. Another mnemonic device to help you remember these five lakes. Then we move on to the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico is down here. It is very important to the southern part of the United States, but also the internal part of the United States, as the Mississippi, where all of its network of rivers spill out into New Orleans. And because of the Gulf of Mexico, not only can they trade with Mexico and the Caribbean and so forth, but it also leads out into the Atlantic Ocean. Of course, you can take that to any part of the world if you just so desire. So all of these cities, St. Louis, all along the Missouri River, the Ohio River, can transport their goods down into New Orleans and then out to wherever they want. So the Gulf of Mexico provides that conduit, that connection between all these internal rivers and the Atlantic Ocean. It's a large body of water, but not as big as an ocean, and that's why we call it a gulf. It was used by French and Spanish explorers as a route to Mexico and other parts of America. And you'll notice the Gulf, it is really surrounded three sides by land, so you can get in, but its own little sea area, and it allows all these smaller towns, if they want to trade with each other, move around or whatever in this area, you can see that it's very quick to get from Florida to Mexico. It's quick to get from New Orleans down to Mexico or New Orleans to Florida by just getting on a boat and sailing across the Gulf of Mexico.